Welcome to Drag Race TV LA's weekly recap of the final 4 episodes of Drag Race España. There were more dramatic eliminations, a Miss Congeniality was named, and of course, España's next drag superstar is revealed. If you like to talk Drag Race, you've come to the right place. Hola, hola, hola. Mark J. Freeman here, along with Ollie Drennan. Say hello.
Hola. How is everyone?
That's the extent of my Spanish, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get over a cold, so I'm all bundled up to protect myself to get through this. I have all my cough drops and my waters standing by. So put up with my horrible appearance. I apologize. But I wanted to do this for you guys. Ollie, what did you think? So we're going to do the last 4 episodes, episode 6, 7, the reunion, and episode 9. Overall thoughts of the last 4 episodes, Ollie?
Obviously, love them. I think kind of at this point, or was it episode 6, you kind of knew who was going to win. That was only downside. I was happy, but it's like, I think the earlier episodes, I wasn't really sure.
Yeah.
But up until this point, I'm like, we know who's going to win. More about that later. But I loved it. It was the perfect, like, it wasn't too long. It wasn't too short. Yeah. And that's what I miss about, like, earlier seasons of Drag Race. It doesn't drag. No pun intended. Like, it gets to the point, and it's, like, kind of nice when it does end because you're not just oversaturated, I guess, with the same queens, you know? So it was just, like, short and sweet and simple, and it's very intimate. It was an intimate season. Got to know all the queens, every single one of them, regardless of whether or not you liked some of them. But it was good. Loved it.
I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Short and sweet, I think, is the way to go. I think these people, like, they've already. Here's my thing too. You're either going to only do Drag Race US and make it, you know, a half a year of shows, or you're going to do every country in the world and keep them all short and sweet. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, you got to pick one or the other. If you're going to have this many, you got to keep them short and sweet. But no, I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. If you guys have not yet subscribed, sorry, over here down in that corner, click on our logo so you can subscribe so you know when we go live. And also be sure to follow us on all social media and Twitch at DRTVLA so you know what we're up to these days. Let's see who's in the chat. Jay Ruiz, Hello Kitty, Chucky Chuck. Thank you guys for being here. We love having you. All right, so let me just tell you guys where it ended, where we were last time we were here talking about España. We ended our recap with episode 5, where the queens performed in a TV series named Basica u Sinica. Pupi Poisson won the challenge, and unfortunately, the very creative Ugaseo Cruente had to sashay away. Which takes us to episode 6, Drags de la Comedia. So we actually got a mini challenge. We got the puppet mini challenge on this episode. I'll tell you who had who. Sagittaria got Pupi. Pupi got Dovima. Dovima got Sagittaria. Carmen got Killer Queen, and Killer Queen got Carmen. And I know it's a while back now, Ollie, but anyone that stood out, Carmen ended up winning the challenge, but anybody that you thought was like good?
I think they were all generally good. Like, no one stood out to me. Wow. Mostly. I think the only person that was bad was Sagittaria, right? If I remember correctly.
And Dovima, who didn't talk.
Oh, really? I don't remember that.
Remember, she did. She just stood there and she's like, I don't have. She basically didn't say anything because she had Sagittaria, and she was saying that she didn't want to bring up anything about their past and this and that. Although she could have talked about any number of things. I think it was a cop out. You know, I want to like Dovima. Like, there's aspects of Dovima I like, but I do feel like and I think it's because she's young. It just doesn't, I don't know. Like, she always like just doesn't like, she doesn't want to participate when they walk in the workroom and they're doing like some kooky fun thing. She just kind of always walks in and walks off. Like, she just doesn't want to be a team player. And I don't know. I definitely thought Carmen deserved the win. Her and Killer were hands down the best. I remember Killer pulled off Carmen's head and her arm. I think she pulled off her head and her arm accidentally when she was doing the thing. Although I didn't think the dolls really looked like them. I felt like it was kind of like they just went out and bought 4 dolls. And they were like, okay, we're going to make it. Because Killer Queen was blonde. She had like yellow hair. The doll. So I was like, whatever. Hello, Luis Manuel Hernandez Elias. He says hello to us in the chat. Are we sure it was an accident? That's a good point. I'm guessing it was an accident, but all right. So then the Maxi Challenge on episode 6 was the stand-up comedy monologue, where they had to, roast the members of the judging panel. As winner of the challenge, Carmen got to choose the order. And they got to rehearse on stage with Supreme and Bray's F.A. Sorry, I butcher all these Spanish names. Sorry. I'm just reading my notes here. Before we talk about the actual Maxi Challenge, though, there was a moment when they came back into the workroom after Yugaseo's elimination. And they were all, again, it was another moment. Like, I don't know, like towards the end, I just kind of just wanted Dovima to go because I felt like she just didn't want to be there. Like, she had her head set on how she was going to be on the show. She just, like, I don't know, like, because they were all talking, like, they were all like really sad that she went, and then she had to make a comment about Yugaseo being gone. And then Carmen even says, and Carmen and Dovima got along really well, she even says to her that she has no heart. I mean, what are your thoughts on Dovima? Because I know you like Dovima.
I like Dovima. I think it is kind of unfortunate because we're coming to the 6th episode that we're in, and like, this is the roast. And I was thinking, I mean, she has this shady, like, snarky kind of like comments here and there that are really funny. But I'm like, damn, like, if you don't want to be here, it sucks that queens like the Macarena weren't able to participate. So, and a part of me is like, I don't know. A part of me is frustrated at this point, seeing her and, my girl Arancha.
Yeah.
R.I.P. It's like, take advantage of this, a part of me. But also, I do respect, like, to an extent. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I have lots of thoughts about it, because I feel like she just doesn't want to play anymore. Like you said, she's not a team player. She wants to leave. If you want to leave, then quit right there and there, So get out. I'll have more respect for you there. But, like, just participate, And it's like, you're not even, like, I was like wanted to know the juicy story with her and Sagittaria. And then I feel like we never really got that, right? Never. Like, that never really came. So I was like, well, why are you here? Like, I'm just bummed that queens that were gone too soon didn't get to, they're not being able to participate when a queen who does make it to the 6th episode isn't allowed to participate or isn't participating.
Yeah, it's choosing to not participate, right? I couldn't agree more. It's sad. It's sad that she had to be that way. Like Chucky Chuck said, she decided to give up, which is sad. So, again, so many queens would die to get on the show. I was also, speaking of Dovima too, when they were preparing for the challenge, and this came up a couple times. I think it even came up in the reunion. They were all talking about Dovima's grammar. I don't know if you remember all this, because Dovima says something to Carmen in the workroom as they were preparing for the challenge, for the comedy challenge, and Carmen like yells at her. She's like, "Girl, I keep wanting to say speak good English, but it's Spanish. So it's basically said speak good Spanish. You're like speaking poor Spanish, and then somebody in the reunion reads her for her Spanish too. So I guess that's another thing that we kind of missed as non-native Spanish speakers. That we kind of missed that.
Yeah.
That she maybe wasn't as proper sounding.
Yeah. And I think we even like talked about it before that some people have different like subtitles with what they're watching on.
Yeah.
So that even creates more of like a disconnect of like the actual language of Spanish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
Agreed. Well, I remember when Holland was on season 1, there were people who were commenting on Twitter and stuff saying that the closed captioning was so off for Holland. Like they were like, oh my gosh, they're like, I mean, it's right, but it's not translated like as properly as it should have been. So, and you can kind of tell when we see the subtitles, like some things kind of don't, like they say a sentence and it kind of is like, huh, that didn't make sense. So you could kind of tell that I think they're trying to translate literally instead of trying to get the idea across of what they're trying to say, which I think is part of the problem. Well, also too, if you remember during the preparing for the comedy challenge, Sagittaria also says she's thinking about leaving the competition as well because she was having such a hard time working on her comedy routine. Again, I don't know if it's just because they're young, but it's like you're coming into this like, you're going to have to do a comedy challenge. You're going to have to do a sewing challenge. You're going to have to do an acting challenge. You're going to have to do Snatch Game, you know?
But
excuse me.
But it's funny because she did good in Snatch Game. You know, it's like she can be, but granted, that's obviously like improv, which is amazing. It's like it's improv. It's also you're playing a character. So it's, I think she shouldn't have been as worried as like Dovima, for instance. Because like I think in this episode, you and I can both agree with, and a lot of people in the chat can probably agree with, going into this episode, we figured Dovima would be going. Like this was her time. No matter what. Like it just at her track record, it just felt like it was her time to go. So I don't know. I feel like Sagittaria wasn't giving herself enough credit. Maybe she was just being insecure at that point.
Yeah.
You know, it is a different challenge than Snatch Game.
Oh, very different. Stand-up is very different than Snatch Game. And Snatch Game is very different from, you know, an acting challenge. You know what I mean? Like, they're very different beasts. I think Chucky Chuck is right. I think maybe part of it is an attention thing. You know, she just wanted the attention. Because at one point, after she kind of was not breaking down, but kind of like they saw her frustration, they all went over and, like, comforted her and stuff on the couches and stuff like that. And, you know, gave her words of encouragement. The other thing was Carmen. I said Carmen got to choose the lineup, and originally she hadn't set it in stone, but she had said that she was going to open. But when she met with Braze and Supreme, they kind of talked her out of opening the show, which ended up, I think, really benefiting her when all was said and done. All right. So, and then Susie Caramello was a guest judge for the roast. Spanish comedian. Sorry, I know I couldn't get the word Spanish out. She's a Spanish comedian. And then obviously the Javis were there, and Anna Locking and Supreme. So, well, I have photos of the runways. The category was Night of 1,000 Rosalias. She's a Spanish singer-songwriter from Barcelona. So I'll throw up the pictures and we can talk about their runway and their performances. So first up on the runway was Miss Dovima Nurmi. Let me grab her image. There you go, Ollie.
So I forget, was this, where did she get from Carmen? I forget.
The thing she's holding,
award,
the trophy.
The award.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think, originally I thought she was wearing Carmen's outfit also.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought that.
But when I rewatched it, I don't think she wore Carmen's. I think that was hers.
Mm-hmm. Just
and
the prop.
Carmen said, if you can't make it work, you can use mine because I'm not going to wear mine anyways because I'm making something new. So if I'm not mistaken, that is her outfit, but Carmen gave her the MTV award to carry.
Mm-hmm.
It was very like, it was just very kind of like blah to me. Like, I mean, maybe it's an iconic look for that woman. I don't know who she is. So
Rosalia.
yeah. I mean, she's obviously a Grammy Award winner and a MTV Music Award winner, but I don't know who she is. I just wasn't impressed with the look at all.
I thought it was like, to me, I don't know why. I thought in terms of like her makeup, I feel like this was for some reason the most beautiful she's ever looked, like in the face. I don't know why.
Oh, okay.
It just felt like very simple. I will say
that.
Because I think Dovima has kind of like this burlesque pinup kind of, to reference Violin Chachki. Like she kind of looks the same a lot. So I think like her makeup was very, and also Rosalia, she paints very like, obviously not like a drag queen, but it's very a little bit more natural. Like she still does like the cute little like I can't even say the word, cute little things here and there. But I really liked Dovima's head up for sure. Like, but yeah, the look wasn't as exciting.
Yeah, it was kind of like, eh. Yeah. And now when she did her comedy, she had issues with the wig. The wig kept, I don't understand why she kept doing that. It's like, girl, tuck it behind your ear. Like there's so many things you could have done to stop it from doing that. I don't understand why she kept playing with it unless they were showing it. Because again, editing, it could have happened once and they just kept showing it over and over again. It maybe didn't happen as often as, you know what I mean? So I don't know, but.
Yeah, and I wonder.
Okay.
Where was the bobby pin? Yeah, I felt like she started off strong, right? Yeah, and then it just kind of the wig. And then I always wonder, like, did they shoot it twice? You know how sometimes US sometimes will shoot certain things twice.
Yeah.
So maybe not here. I feel like maybe not in this particular spinoff, but yeah, that thing just, I was like, come on, Dovima. But yeah, it was a gag that just ruined her performance for sure.
For sure. But again, I like that she played off of, like I always say this, the problem is the solution. So her problem was she can't see without her glasses and her contacts and stuff. And so she made that part of the problem was the solution. You know what I mean? Like she's like, okay, well, I'm just going to write in my journal and I'm going to, do it that way. So I applaud her for doing that. Did she deserve to be in the bottom? We'll discuss when we get there. But next up on the runway is Poopy Poison. Thoughts on Poopy's runway and performance?
I like this look from Rosalia for sure. I think it was cool. Maybe it wasn't like, obviously Poopy's a little, like you definitely saw it was Poopy from the face, and also it wasn't as polished, but I liked it because it was just, obviously it was a different silhouette. It was something that wasn't like, oh, from an award show. Like I forget where it's exactly from.
Creative,
but it was creative, absolutely. And like there were some other Rosalia looks that I was hoping to see, but some of the looks like from the girls, like they chose very like simple ones, which I mean they still look beautiful nonetheless. But I thought this was at least exciting. Wasn't my favorite. Yeah. No, it was nice to look at overall, like between the 5 queens that are left.
Yeah. Chucky Check says her runway was trash and her performance was so bad and did not live up to the hype. I agree 1,000%.
Yeah, which is, you would have thought that she would have done well in this challenge too.
Yeah. I mean, here's my thing is like, I've said this before. I'm not a fan of hers. Will I go see her when she's in town? Absolutely not. I feel like I've seen everything that I'm going to see from her. I just like, it's like, this is your chance to shine because this is the thing that you do so well. Supposedly, I'll put that in quotes, that you do so well. Really, girl? And I get it. And they, and it's like, I feel like the judges are always making excuses for her. And like, even one of them was like, we do have a bad day. I've had stand-up things where it was a bad day and I couldn't wait to get off the stage. Usually, though, in my opinion, if it's a bad thing, it's because it's like a dead audience. Like they're not giving anything back to you and stuff. So that, in my opinion, is a lot of times my issue. But I just was like, I mean, she should have been in the bottom. I mean, in my opinion, she completely should have been in the bottom. Again, like you said, I agree. The look was at least creative. It's a tracksuit, though. Let's not mince words. This is a tracksuit that she put on. Come on.
I think I like the weapons. I
liked, and I did. I like that.
I'm like, how did those stay on? I'm like, okay, it's cute. But yeah, I agree where you're coming from. Tracksuit.
I couldn't. All right. Next up is Carmen Farala. This is her Rosalia. Am I saying that right? Rosalia,
yeah.
Rosalia.
I just am constantly amazed. I'm sure like you can agree. I'm constantly amazed and just baffled about like how effortless she just comes off in each and every single episode since episode 1. Like she can't do anything wrong, and that's okay. Like that's a good thing. So for her, she made this right. Like when she had the same look with
as Dovima.
So she decided to make this. The fringe is beautiful. Like it's so simple and elegant. And this is actually like a look from Rosalia in a day. That's wild to me. It's crazy. And she did great in the challenge. I was like,
yeah,
okay, here's our winner.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Ridiculous. But
she's 31, but I will say this, to me, she comes off so much older than 31. Like she just seems so polished and put together and has her head on straight and just so like sexy. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. The dreams I have about her. Well, Daniel more than Carmen, but I mean, she's just, it's so funny. I was thinking about this. I meant to go back and rewatch we did that video of España based on the looks where we were just based everything. And I don't know if I wrote it down. I don't have it here if I did write it down. And I meant to go back and rewatch it because we picked who we thought would be just based on the looks. I don't think either of us picked Carmen, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think so either.
And I think, but I did say, and I do remember saying this, is if she's just going to be doing body, I'm going to be over it. So I think that was part of our reason behind it was we've seen so many of these queens that it's like body, 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 that you get tired of it and stuff. But she just has this charisma. Oh.
It's effortless.
Effortless, completely. Yeah. I'm assuming you're talking about Carmen here, Hello Kitty. You said you think her transformation from male to drag queen is so magical. I agree. I mean, I need him to learn some more English so he can come live with me in the States. That's all I need. And yeah, his stand-up was, for somebody who doesn't do stand-up, she did a good job. All right, next up is Killer Queen. This was her Rosalia look. And then she did the stand-up where she had the really big glasses on and she was basically like a prosecuting attorney or something and like calling everybody out on stuff. What a great way to start the show. I think that was, and I also think that was a smart move for Carmen to put her in that. I don't know if she had seen what Killer was planning and was like, that needs to go first, or she just wanted to get herself out of the first position.
Wait, did she call it the judges, you mean? Is that what you mean? She went Killer. What did Killer do in the beginning, you said?
Yeah, well, she was doing she played a character also.
Oh, okay.
In the thing, and she was playing like a prosecutor, like a prosecuting attorney, because she was like, you're accused of this and you're accused of, like, she was kind of doing it in that kind of a style.
Okay.
So I don't, again, what I was saying though is I don't know, did Carmen see her working on her stand-up and go, this is really good, I'm going to move her to the first spot? Or was it more, okay, I just don't want to go first, I'm going to put Killer there? You know what I mean? Like, I'm curious to know if she actually thought about that, or she was just like, I'm just moving myself out of the first position. Because if she did see it and then went, this needs to start the show, I give her even more credit because she spotted it, you know?
Yeah, I really liked Killer's performance. If Carmen didn't win, I would have wanted it to be Killer. Like, I would have been totally fine if, like, I thought Carmen killed it, obviously, but I would have been totally fine if Killer also won this week. And I also really liked her choice of the Rosalia look. Because it was different. She had the snake. I like the dress too, the structure of the dress as well. So it was a good reference to choose from. And it's like, I definitely, like, I've never seen Killer like look like this, dress like this on the runway. So I always, you know me, I always enjoyed a different silhouette. Yeah. When a queen switches it up. So I thought it was a great choice for her. So she definitely, to me, killed it this week. Yeah.
Well, the judges also said to her on that runway how beautiful her face was, because she does have a tendency to do a lot of the glitter eyes and the colorful makeup and the big makeup, kind of, not as far as Trixie, but somewhere kind of in between. And this was very like subdued, very, pretty. And she does have a beautiful face. I did pick Killer to be in the final, by the way, based on photos. I did for the record. I do remember that. All right, and last but not least is Miss Sagittaria. Let me grab her runway for Rosalia. Okay, here you go. The red pants suit.
It was cute. Wasn't my favorite, not really. No. Yeah, I would have thought, like, because I feel like she would be like a huge fan of Rosalia, maybe pick a more iconic look from her. This was just a little, it was, I don't want to say pedestrian. That sounds terrible. But it's like, this is a club. This would be like in a club, She looked great, but wasn't my favorite. No. And her performance obviously landed her in the bottom, rightfully so. Yeah. And then storyline purposes, like, it made sense for Dovima to be in the bottom with her. There's a little producing coming in, but obviously I think you and I can agree that our favorite poopy Poison should have been in the bottom with Sagittaria.
Absolutely.
But they and you can tell by the end of the series, they really were protecting Poopy, unfortunately.
Oh, completely. And there's something in particular that happened. I'll get to it in a minute when we get to that part. Where as soon as it started happening, I was like, "Are you kidding me with this right now?" Like, they're literally like, we'll get to it because there's a moment where I was like about to throw my computer through the wall. I'm trying to remember now because I have it in the notes. What I have written down in the notes is Sagittaria has no right to make fun of an original drag name. She was making fun of somebody's drag name because it wasn't original. And I can't remember who it was now. But in my head, I'm going, are you kidding me? You literally based your name on Aquaria's drag name, and you're going to make fun of somebody for, and I don't remember who it was. If you guys are in the chat and you know who it was.
I think it had to be Carmen. I feel like, right?
Carmen. I don't remember.
Carmen or Poopy? It wouldn't have been, it wasn't Dovima.
Maybe Killer Queen?
One of those two.
I don't remember. I remember writing it down for that reason, because as soon as she said it, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, you have the least creative name because you based it off of someone, a drag queen that you liked. I just don't get it. Another thing on the runway, we were talking about Carmen or Dovima earlier about just her attitude and stuff. However, then she breaks down on the runway because of Carmen. And, Carmen, she talks about how much Carmen has helped her and how she offered her all the stuff. And then they all like have this moment, which I wasn't falling for.
Well, I always said that I honestly do. Like I said, I like Dovima. I just see through her act, she came on, we talked about this before. She wanted to be that villain, that stone cold bitch. But like, that's not her in production. The show is going to show your true self. and it's going to edit you a certain way. But ultimately, when the camera's on you for such an extended period of time, your true colors will eventually show. Maybe not all of them, you know. But and this is her first show gig, so I definitely saw through her villainous character that she was trying so hard to portray, when really she does have this soft exterior, no matter how hard she tries to play that character.
Yeah. Well, I always say this all the time too. And like, I'm thinking of, for example, Raja O'Hara. You know, she's not going on All Stars 6 saying, oh, it was a bad edit, they took everything out of context. She's owning it up. You know, she's like, look, I was a different person. I had insecurities. I took it out on everybody else there. And I feel like a lot of the, like, even like Candy Muse, and when, what's her name? Roxy Andrews on her original season, they were just such bitches. And it's like, look, you can blame it all you want. You said those words. Those words came out of your mouth. And I feel like that's problem now too, is with like someone like Pandora, who's holding back because they don't want that to happen. But it's like, it's kind of like a catch-22. It's like, either you go on and be yourself and you run the risk of, you know, them kind of turning on you and making you into a villain, or you go in and you don't do anything and then nobody's talking about you.
Right.
So yeah. Yes, Kitty. Well, I don't know if the attraction was two-sided. Dovima definitely had a crush on Carmen. I mean, she made multiple comments. She says something about Carmen stealing her heart. In the reunion, they even cut to Dovima reading Carmen, and she basically just says she wants to blow her. So I don't know if it's two-sided or not, but yeah, there's definitely something going on there. So Carmen Farala ended up winning the challenge. And as we said, Dovima and Sagittaria ended up in the bottom two. I think we don't think that was the bright bottom two, but whatever. That's how it ended up. And then Dovima didn't lip sync at all. What were your thoughts on Dovima choosing to not lip sync at all?
You know, as I know some people might not like it, but I lived for it because it's the first time. Like, this is the first time it's happened. Just like UK season 2 with Ginny Lemon. Yeah. I lived for it. Like, this season literally had so many firsts. Like with Inti, you know, quitting, the single lip sync, and then everyone got on stage. I lived for it. It was an iconic moment. Some people might not like it for her not trying and not participating. And I even said, like, bitch, participate. But like, I also knew at the end of this episode, she would have been gone, you know? So I did live for it. For like, in terms of for TV purposes, I lived for it. Yeah.
Chucky Chuck didn't like it too much.
I lived for the drama.
Yeah. I mean, it's, again, we kind of always go back and forth when we review stuff too. Like,
she did lip sync for 2 seconds. That one moment in the lip sync with her and Sagittaria.
Yeah. True. So my quote of the episode, I have 2 written down here. I'm going to go with Susie's because I thought Susie's was funny. Susie, who was the guest judge, she says to, she's actually talking to Poopy in reference to her runway look with all the guns. She says, you carry more accessories than Primark. Primark is like kind of like a Walmart in England, in Europe. So I know my husband, when he would go to Europe, he would buy me stuff from Primark all the time because it was so cheap. He's like, I bought you some stuff from Primark. So I just thought it was funny. So it missed my messages. Oh, sorry, Rook. What did you say? I don't see your Rook. I don't see your messages on here. You done missed my messages. It wasn't intentional. All right. So that was episode 6. So episode 7 is the final 4. So did it just start happening on episode 7, or was it happening the whole season and I just noticed it in episode 7? When Supreme would come into the workroom, was there always an audio of her saying, hold on to your pants, pussycat?
I'm not sure. It doesn't ring any bells.
because like that episode 7 and episode 9, it happened when the voiceover thing came over. She says, "Hang on, hold on to your pants, pussycat," when the siren's going off. And I was like, have they been saying that the whole time, and I just noticed now, or did they just do it at the towards the end of the season? I guess if you didn't notice, then it's
yeah, it has to be the first.
Oh, Caesar says it was always there, and so does a disco queen.
That went over my head.
That's so funny that I never noticed it. Thank you guys. All right, so the mini challenge for the final 4 was 3 minutes to put on makeup in a mirrorless booth. I don't know if you remember. Do you have anything that stood out that you remember?
They all have wonderful personalities. At least that's the saving grace for when they didn't have the mirror, right? You said?
Yeah.
It was cute though. Like, I mean, I love this challenge. I think they've had some great challenges, as opposed to like sometimes, our regular seasons of Drag Race. Their challenges are just a little bit like their mini challenges are a little not as exciting. They're entertaining. It's like usually I don't give a crap about them.
Yeah.
But I love that they make them entertaining and fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It was fun. It was and Carmen won the mini challenge, which gave her an advantage for the maxi challenge. And I thought this was interesting too, because she says this in her confessional. They cut to her confessional after she wins the mini challenge, and she says, she almost doesn't want the advantage because it becomes a cross to bear.
Yeah.
And it's like, no one's ever really said that before. And I just thought that was really like, that's true. It's like, you want to win, but be careful what you ask for, because now you're going to be the one who has to, pick the order or assign the roles or whatever.
Yeah. She even had to pick the order for last episode.
Yeah.
But even then, like, I felt like overall she did a very fair placement job of that. So
yeah, for sure.
You can tell she has lots of heart. I think she still wants to do well, but she also wants to see her competitors do well too, which I think is very sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what this is in reference to, but a disco queen says, "Ollie, clutch my pearls."
Oh no, what did I say?
So the maxi challenge is the makeover challenge. So it was Madrid Titans of Rugby, LGBT, first inclusive team in Spain. And so as winner of the mini challenge, Carmen gets to choose her partner and pair up the others. So she ends up choosing Carlos, who's like the littlest guy. They all were fawning over Fernando because he had a really big smile and everything. She ended up giving Fernando to Killer. She gave Jose to Poopy, and Jose was the really big guy. And Sagittaria got Thomas, who is he was the Asian guy in the group. So then it's so funny too, because it was kind of like one of those, I liked the editing that they did when they cut to them with each of their rugby players, and how everybody was having these like lovely, heartwarming conversations. And then Fernando, the one that everybody was drooling over, was like, rugby. Like he just talked about rugby the whole time. I just loved how because they never really commented on it, but the way that they edited it, I thought was really clever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's like, these queens don't care about rugby. I mean, they're queens. I mean, a lot of gays, sometimes not all gays love the sports. They like to watch the sports, but yeah, it was cute. Mm-hmm. It was fun. This makeover challenge was so much better than Down Under. Let me just say that. Because usually I love the makeover challenge, and I'm so happy that they did it for España. So I was just like pleasantly surprised that this was a really good episode. It was really enjoyable. And like all 4 of the guys were different body types. You had the muscular one, we had the big guy, like the real big guy. You had the short, smaller one, and then you had like the average one. So it really did have like a diverse body type, but obviously that could create, if you have to make the garment, or it creates drama too, which is
for sure
always great.
Yeah. the Chucky Chuck and a Disco Queen are talking about the part in preparing for the challenge with Killer tucking Fernando, and it was actually hysterical watching Carmen and Poopy like trying to go back and look and see what's going on. It was really funny. It was fun. And then we saw Sagittaria also had a really hard time because it was somewhat of a design challenge as well. She had to make something for her person. So we had our normal judges, Anna, Javi, and the Javis. And then we had guest judge was Envy Peru from Drag Race Holland, the winner of Drag Race Holland. Excuse me. Runway category is Fury of the Titans. All right, so I will pull them up one at a time. So first up is Poopy and Peppy Passion. Let me grab Poopy. Here it is. All right. Ollie, your thoughts on Poopy Poison?
Ooh. You know, as long as Peppy feels great in drag, that's all that really matters at the end of the day. I honestly, whoever had Poopy, you know, was not going to look like a Carmen Farala.
No.
This was not good. It was very matronly, like grandma-ish. Like,
it was bad.
That wasn't good. And I felt so bad because I think Peppy broke their heel. Yeah. Right? I was like, oh man.
It was one of the worst runways I've ever seen on RuPaul. That's like 11-year-old in his room doing drag for the first time, grabs his mom's skirt and sweater and high heels. Like, that's what that looked like. It was ridiculous. It's just so deserving.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Poopy's like put a whole lot of people in drag before.
Oh, I can imagine she probably hasn't. Who would go to her to ask her to?
Oh my! Where's the shade button?
I know it's over there. Let's see. Poopy could have. What does it say? Poopy could have Ollie make him over, and she'd still manage to make him look bad.
Oh my goodness!
Absolutely. Yeah, she has no fashion sense. It's just like she was. Again, you know, and it's so funny. I think I told you this before. One of my best friends' husband is from Spain. That's who when I was house sitting, when I was broadcasting from my friend's house, it was their house. And when the day they were leaving, I was over there talking to him, and I said, okay, do you know who this is? Like, I want to know, do you know who Poopy Poison is? Because they are all gushing over her like she is this huge thing. And he's like, granted, he hasn't been there in 10 years. He's, been away, living other places. But, like, I don't know. She's just not good. Sorry. All right. Next up is Carmen Farala and Carla Farala. She did the play on Sherlock Holmes and Watson.
Mm-hmm. Oh, where'd you go? Oh, you disappeared for a second. I loved it.
Oh.
She can't do anything wrong. My only literal critique is that, like, obviously I can't take my eyes off of Carmen, like I almost wanted to like just not see Carmen because Carmen, sometimes she steals the show. She's beautiful. So I also think like maybe that was, I forget her person's name. Maybe he needed to play it up. Carla
or Carlo. Carla's his drag name. Carlo, I think.
I guess I don't know. It has been a couple weeks since I've seen the episode, but I just couldn't take my eyes off of Carmen. But maybe Carla needed to play it up more. But yet it was it was beautiful. Like, I saw the resemblance. I love their story. The investigator, detective, whatever. What is that? That's not plaid, is it? What is tartan, right? Tartan?
Yeah.
It was beautiful. Gorgeous. Yeah. She can make one hell of a garment. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. She slayed it. All right. Next up is Sagittaria and Neptuna. Here we go. Throw that up for you.
God. Trying to think. Let me gather my thoughts.
Chuck, I think she did make both outfits. I'm
Yeah.
assuming he's asking about. I think he's asking about Carmen if she made both outfits. I think she made both outfits for herself and for Watson.
Yeah. I don't know. Sagittaria, I really don't like her outfit first and foremost. I don't understand why she had to do like this ridiculous, like here's someone who's trying to steal the show when it's like I feel like you have to really uplift your partner, right?
Yeah.
So and then like also it's not a good look. It's like I get where she's trying to do like the Fifth Element look, kind of the Lilu. However, then your partner doesn't look that great. They're like have all this fabric. There's no connection. There's no there's no resemblance other than the blonde hair and the red color.
Right.
Color red.
Right.
So, and then I didn't get the performance. She was like breastfeeding. It was so cringeworthy.
Yeah, I didn't get that either. Yeah. And Hello Kitty saying Sagittarius doesn't wear any clothes. I agree. Chuck, she's using her body to save herself. I agree. It was funny because I was looking back. Eureka posted today on Facebook or Instagram her look so far from the runway, and my eye went right to the one. I think you said you didn't really like it that much. Was the one where she made it was like the light blue little cocktail dress. It was real short and it was real simple. It was just a little simple blue skirt. But I really thought about it today, and I thought, if that was someone like Sagittaria or Violet Chachki, somebody with these incredible, skinny, perfect bodies, Carmen Farala, everybody would just be like, oh, amazing, amazing. Oh, look at her legs. I firmly believe that there is a lot of like things that get brushed under because they have pretty legs or a skinny body. And I agree with everybody saying that Sagittaria didn't really do anything. She didn't. I still don't really even know who Sagittaria is, And they also shared, I think it's on the Drag Race España Instagram. They did the final 3. They did all of their runways and like, tell us which one you liked the best. And looking at Sagittaria's, I was just kind of like, I mean, they're all okay, but there's none that I think the only one that I really liked, I think the one that I liked the most was the very first runway that she made. Yeah. The black hair, the black thing. I like that one. That was probably the only one that I was like, okay.
Yeah. Like I think her runways got progressively like weaker because I love that one too. That one stands out to me. And I loved her, like the one she won on, like the dessert one. I like that one too. But they've gotten so like it's like she's running out of ideas or concepts or something, Yeah. And you can kind of see that with her performance. It did get progressively weaker, like just in general of any challenge that she did.
Thank you, MJ. It was her final look for the blue ball, Ollie, Eureka's dress that I'm referring to. I don't know if you remember it, but
I don't know. Maybe if Poopy would have worn that, the judges might have loved it.
Yeah, I'm sure they would have loved it. All right, so last on the runway for the makeover is Killer Queen, and she had Fernando, the one with the big, beautiful smile. What did you think of?
I really liked it. I almost wanted, I know you might not agree, I almost wanted Killer to win this week.
I did too.
Okay, wow, we agree. We agree so much.
I was this season jaw dropped when they were like nitpicking her. Everything that they pointed out was true. The padding was showing, the underwear was showing. I get that. But when they came around the corner, I was like, shut it. And you watched him. Like you were saying, it's about raising this person up and making them shine. Mm-hmm. She really made him shine. Yeah.
And like he got into it too. He like, no matter how silly he may have felt, totally got into the character. Killer didn't overshadow him. I love that they were shooting water or whatever it was at the judges. It was like so cute. The James Bond, like I love that they had the same color hair, but one was longer. and the other one was shorter. Like there were little differences but you still saw the resemblance, and I just loved their performance. I love the transformation of Fernando. I really, honestly, I know they wanted to give it to Carmen, but I'm like, come on, please.
Yeah.
Because then if Killer did win, like I was like, oh, maybe Killer might win the whole show because she has two. So I really enjoyed the performance.
And Fernando's name was Slayer Queen, so it was Killer Queen, and Slayer Queen.
So good, so good.
Yeah, I know, I love that too. Everybody in the chat's agreeing that they thought Killer should have won it. So the other thing that happened, which I also thought, this is where I started thinking shady shit's about to happen.
Oh, I think I know.
Because they did the final four, even though there was going to a final three, and it's usually in the finals that they speak to their younger selves, they decided to do it on this episode. This is where I started getting really worried, because they did that, and then they gave Carmen the win and told Poopy, Killer, and Sagittaria they all had to lip sync for their life. When that happened, girl, first when they started doing the younger selves, I kind of went, what's going on here? And then when they said that they all three had, I was like, oh, no. They are trying so hard to make Poopy go to the finals. They are trying so hard. You don't understand, Ollie. I was about to get in my car and go kill some people had that happened. Chucky Chuck agrees too. And Hello Kitty says shade for sure. Your thoughts, Ollie? Curious to see what you think about all that.
Yeah, it was a weird timing. I was thinking, okay, they could do totally. I didn't think they were going to keep Poopy, but if they did, they would have put all four of them at the end. But thank God they didn't, because that lessens the stakes. That would have been so annoying if they did. But my whole issue with everything was just having Killer lip sync in they're having a bottom three. I know that I think this was another first, but at the same time, I didn't agree with it because I think Killer did great. They were being way too harsh with her critiques. I don't understand it. There was a clear bottom, and that was Poopy, and I almost said Aquaria, Sagittaria. Like that was a clear bottom too, and I just felt bad for Killer because she did not deserve to at all. It was just kind of like salt in the wounds for what?
Completely. And she's too nice. Like she wouldn't have complained about it. But it's like, people love to do tallies and count who was in the bottom, who was in the top, who was safe. She will always have this now as a bottom, and she didn't deserve to be a bottom. Like that just is completely, throw a shoe at the TV. Hello Kitty. No, I agree. She has not lived up to. I still don't. I said I did watch her Spain's Got Talent performance. Go watch it. It's nothing.
Ooh.
Like she doesn't. Like it's just not even. It's basically what you saw on the show. Like it's not like she's. This is what I say all the time. Like me and who was I with? I was with somebody at a drag show, and we always joke about this. If it's a drag race queen and they're on stage, okay, I'm gonna call her out. Sorry, this happened to me. I was watching the Instagram from Showgirls WeHo. They had posted because they always post all the queens that are in the show. So I was going through because I didn't get to go on Monday because I was not feeling well. Yesterday, sorry, losing track of my days. And Scarlet Envy was there. And she's literally just standing there. And she's got on like a little bolero jacket. Like, it's not even like she's got on like a duster that's covering her costume underneath. You literally can see her entire costume. She just has a matching bolero jacket. And she's literally just standing there. And at one point, she just rips off the bolero. And the place goes bonkers, Ollie. Bonkers. And I'm just like, she took off her jacket. Like, I just feel like there's always, like, we have this thing where if there's a name on a show, if you're attached to a show, if you've been on TV, especially in LA, you can do no wrong. You really can't do any wrong. Like, you can go do whatever you want, and they go crazy. And then I, who haven't been on, am, draining my bank accounts to come up with a new dress and a new look and trying to come up with a fun, creative number and all this stuff. And people get up to go get a drink. I'm not saying that's what happens all the time, but it just, you know what I mean? Like, it's just frustrating because it's just like, and I feel like that's what they did with Poopy is she got such a pass because she was this name.
Mm-hmm. No,
I just question.
Support your local. Support your local queens, because more than half the time, I'm sure they're doing more work, like you said, spending way more money, putting way more effort into their numbers and shows, and probably doing a much better job, clearly, than girls on Drag Race.
Yeah.
Simple. I mean, look at Carmen, who had no ties to Drag Race before, like didn't even watch the show, and yet so she was a local queen, whatever you want to call her. Yeah. And yet, look at her.
Absolutely. Oh, anyway, all right. I'm done complaining. All right. So some mirror moments in this episode. There were quite a few, actually. We actually on episode, what is this? It's episode 7. Poopy actually opens up about coming out to her family and her mother, finding a dress of hers and washing it and da-da-da. I don't know about you, but all I kept thinking was, you used to live with your mother? I'm so terrible.
Was that, I thought she got that when she was growing up. That's what I thought.
Oh, maybe it was. I was like, well, that's why I wasn't sure. I was like, is she talking about recently or is she talking about when she was younger? I mean, it was nice to see her, like, she's always, and I said this earlier in the season, excuse me, when they critique her, when they're giving her compliments, she can't just take a compliment. She's always trying to like make it into a joke and be goofy and silly. And it's like, stop, just say thank you, be gracious, and move on. Like, there's something to be said about that. And it just frustrated me. But I was glad that she did finally open up. And I think even the judges said, we finally have seen the side of you, you know?
Mm-hmm. Which is good. It makes sense, like coming from like that background where you don't talk about, certain things, your queerness, or like the coming out twice, as we've talked about previously. Like, it makes sense to why Poopy is a little harsh. I don't condone it. Like, she shouldn't be like that. But also, my heart does go out to her because that's not easy. Dealing with that with your family, like your biological family. You can, always find your family, your chosen family, but at the same time, that it was really heartbreaking to see. But I'm glad that we did see the softer core to Poopy, because there is one. Yeah, there is one.
For sure. Who is this? Chucky Chuck says, I don't think younger queens respect the art of drag. It's more the look now. I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not, and I don't want to like categorize like all young queens are bad. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm saying that, but it's like, that's one of the, and I've had a conversation with people about this. One of the downfalls I feel like with Drag Race is now it's doing drag to get on TV. Mm-hmm. It's not doing drag for the reasons, it's like, I mean, I don't know that I necessarily sat down and had a conversation with myself as to why I want to do drag. Like, I don't know that I ever had that conversation with myself, but there's something to be said about doing it when it's not a big thing on TV. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, we did it to fundraise, to bring up, I always like to do songs that are like motivational too. Like, that's just me. I like to do like uplifting songs that make people happy. Like, I don't want to go into a club and do like some depressing song. Like, my idea of drag is to raise people up, to make them forget about their problems, to make people happy, to put a smile on their face. That's what drag is for me. I don't necessarily think it's how many rhinestones are on the dress. That's just me. That's just how I always have been. Even when I was doing it a lot and, people would say to me, oh, you can do pageants, or you can do pageants. And I was like, I don't feel like I need to. Like, I'm happy doing what I do. If I'm not putting it down. If that's what you want to do, that's a path you want to go down it. But it was just never for me. So anyway. We also got a story from Thomas, who is Sagittarius partner Neptuna. He talked about on the runway having to deal with Asian hate on the streets of Spain during COVID. He was beaten, woke up 2 days later in the hospital. And he was just talking about how much it meant to him to be there, like just number one, to be alive.
Right.
And then getting to know Sagittaria. And I felt like they were kind of bonding. Even though he said he had a boyfriend, I felt like there was something going on with the two of them. That was kind of a sad story to hear. Unfortunately, it's what happens.
But it's crazy. Even in Spain, it happened there. So it's happening all over. Like, it happened. It's crazy that it just happened. All the Asian hate happened all around the world because of the stigma with Corona.
I mean, I have a friend, a girlfriend who she's my friend's neighbor. And she happened to be over one day when I was there. And she told me, and this was here on Doheny. She was walking home from the Ralphs and people were yelling at her from their car. And I was just like, in LA.
Wow.
And I was, like, when she told me, I was in shock. I was like, are you kidding me? This is really happening here? And she's like, oh yeah, girl. She goes, I don't go. If I'm going to walk to the store, if it's late, I don't go anymore. It has to be daylight out for me to walk to the store. She said, or I'll drive if it's late and I need something. And I was like, wow. Like, I was just floored. I couldn't believe it. So our heart goes out to Thomas. We're glad that you were there. We're glad that you were a part of the show and that it meant so much to you because you killed it. Neptuna. So one other thing that was said in the Untucked after the runway, I'm just curious to know what you thought of this, because Killer Queen says to Sagittarius she deserves to be in the top 3. And so Poopy, the way she says it, it does make it look like she's saying that Poopy should go home. And then Poopy kind of calls her on it. And she says, no. If they asked me, I would offer to go home. Did you believe her?
I didn't understand why Poopy. It's just, I don't know. I don't really have any thoughts of it, but like, you can't knock Killer Queen for what she said.
I just wish she would have. Again, I think she's just too nice to say what she really wanted to say. If I was her, I would have been like, yeah, girl, it's your time to go. You did the worst. Bye, girl.
I mean, oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I think another problem with Poopy is just take the critique. Like, if you have a negative critique, like, you don't have to always defend yourself. Like, you messed up. Up. Lip sync for your life. Maybe you'll stay.
Yeah.
Or maybe you won't.
I think Chucky Chai, I think she did. I think she put her foot in her mouth and she was just trying to cover up, and then she didn't cover up well. Poopy should not have been in the final. I mean, Poopy should have been gone episode 2, in my opinion, but whatever. It's not Lorayne Loves Drag Race, so whatever. All right. My quote of the. Oh wait, did I say? Oh yeah, we talked about it. Okay. So my quote of this episode is from Carmen. She says, they were talking about her contour. She goes, "I don't need much. My surgeon does all my contouring." So that was funny. All right. So that was it. That was episode 7. So now we're into the reunion. Ollie, I'll ask you on camera because we talked a little bit about this before we went live. And you guys put it in the chat too. I'm curious what everybody's overall thoughts of the reunion are. Ollie, what is your overall thoughts of the reunion?
I mean, I didn't learn anything new. They had a cute little moments here and there. I was happy to see the earlier queens who exited back again on our screens. So that was cute. I loved because Arancha, I'm a huge Arancha stan. Like literally what I was watching, the subtitles, you would always see Arancha laugh, like just
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt like they could have done this like after the finale or something, Yeah. I feel like it would have been a better placement because it's like we get another week, because it was all mostly recap.
Yeah.
And it was like, I just want to see who wins. Just get to the finale.
Yeah. Yeah. I was really kind of like underwhelmed like I was for season 13's reunion. It wasn't really a reunion. It was just kind of a recap of everything that happened.
Yeah.
Like you said, there are a couple things that I'll talk about that kind of came up, but there's not much to say about the reunion. Luis Manuel Hernandez Elias says, "Where's the drama?"
Exactly.
Where was the drama? I mean, this would have been such a perfect moment for Dovima and Sagittaria to get into their thing. And like you said, why bring it up? Like, edit that out. Like, now you've started a storyline that you're not going to finish. It just doesn't make sense. I just don't get it. Yeah, Poopy had to win something. Yeah.
It was almost as if, let's say this so we can make it far in the competition, and let's never bring it up again.
Yeah. So I was kind of confused because, well, I wasn't confused until the final episode, but they gave the finalists Samsung Galaxy Z flip phones at the reunion, but then they gave them to them again at the finale. So I was kind of confused. I'm like, did they get two? Or like, you know what I mean? Like, did you notice that? Like, I was like, what's going on with the phones? Was it just to borrow for the reunion, but now we're going to give them to you in the finale?
Yeah, that's another thing. I wonder when they filmed the reunion. Was it after the crowning or was it before? Yeah. Probably around the same time, but probably they're just like, okay, maybe not everyone will see the reunion. Let's make sure we add that product placement from our sponsors to get it out there. Those phones look cute though. I'm an iPhone person still, Apple for me, with my phone at least, but the phones look cute. They look cute. They probably have great cameras.
Yeah. There was also a congratulations message from Alexis Mateo to everybody at the reunion, which I thought was nice. They're getting all their Spanish-speaking queens out there and getting them some airtime. So one thing that we saw that was kind of like, I was like, oh, that would have been nice to see on the episode, was Drag Volcano. That moment where they cut to the unseen footage of them rehearsing. And she kind of lays into them and like, look, you guys, we need to like rehearse and stuff. I wish we would have seen that. Like, I had so much more respect for her. I mean, I already liked her anyway, but it was like, again, we're only seeing what they're choosing to show us. And this is even more proof of that.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on that? Did you like that? Or were you surprised?
I definitely was surprised because I said this already, I'm sure, in the second episode we reviewed, that she was just very quiet and she wasn't giving anything. So that's why I thought she was like being like kind of set up to go home. Because when you're not giving anything to the storyline, but apparently she was laying into them on stage because they weren't, getting the choreography down or whatever. Clearly, like no one really in that challenge gave good choreography, but it showed. So, and also I was like reminded, like, wow, I forgot Drag Volcano is very sexy as a boy. I forgot.
Yeah.
But yeah, those first outs were really hard to like go. Looking back, I'm like, damn, I wish we could have switched some of the elimination order for sure.
Definitely. I would have because Dovima was in the bottom of the first episode. Send her home. Pete Macarena. And Poopy, send her home too. So Inti says that she did, they asked her if she regretted what she did. She said no. She felt like she made the right decision. But Dovima said something. I'm curious to think what you thought. Dovima says if Inti would have lip synced, she thinks Inti would have sent Dovima home. Do you think Inti would have sent Dovima home?
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't even think about it at the time, but when they said that, I was like, yeah, actually, she probably would have.
I totally 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. This is good to know. Cesar Rodriguez says, Drag Volcano comes from the Canaries drag scene, and those queens are serious as a heart attack about their art. That's good to know. Good to know. Again, like it's hard because we don't, it's like here, like Southern drag versus LA drag versus New York drag versus Columbus, Ohio drag. It's like we forget that there's all these different styles and stuff all around the world. MJ says that Inti would have sent her home with her eyes closed. Agreed. All right, let's see what else we have here from the. Oh, they did they opened the library during the challenge, and I will say, it's probably good that Macarena wasn't there for the actual reading challenge because I thought she really kind of laid into all of them. I was like, you go, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I said that already. Okay. You said this too. The montage of Arantxa laughing was one of my favorite parts of the whole reunion. It was so her. They talked about Hugoseo's verse and I said this when we critiqued the episode. I loved Hugoseo's verse. I thought it was the best of all the verses, but I noticed that. So Carmen even says it during the reunion. She says, "No, your verse is like now iconic. Like it was just, and it's true. It's like, but it's funny that she went home on that. You know what I mean? Like even though it was such a great verse. Also, yeah, we said this already. Dovima and Sagittaria wouldn't say what happened between them. They did do a yay or nay on runways. Nothing profound. Again, the reunion was just kind of like
it was cute that it was like the España version of Toot and Boot.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, this is where they say it at the reunion. Supreme says to Pepe or to Poopy that we didn't really get to know you until Pepe showed up. That's where she said it. I knew somebody said it to her. And it's true. It's true. Had she done that sooner, I think she might have had more people in her corner. Carmen talked about how she kind of hid from everybody that comedy was like her thing she was worried about the most. And she just said that she was just gonna, slay the runways, do whatever she could to kind of distract people from the fact that she wasn't funny.
Mm-hmm.
I also thought it was really cool. Hugoseo says, he felt like he was a really good queen until he met Carmen. Then he's like, now I feel like a slacker compared to her because she's so good. And then I guess the reason for the reunion was to award Poopy Poison Miss Congeniality.
What was that?
They didn't even say, did the queens vote? Did the show vote? Who voted?
Yeah. She was shocked. Her reaction was like, oh. So I wonder, was it production? Like we've talked about, like, man, they were really protecting Poopy. They really wanted to like save face for Poopy. But I wonder, like, to me, it almost seemed like everyone knew but Poopy that she was gonna get it. I don't know. I think someone else, like, clearly there's other queens that deserve that other than Poopy. 100%. Like Miss Congeniality, I don't see it. I don't see it at all. But I get she must have like amazing relationships. If the queens did vote for her, she must have amazing like personal relationships with them or something we didn't see. But in terms of like the show, I don't see it.
Hello Kitty says the judges voted for Miss Congeniality, which I don't understand why they would vote for the girls should be voting for Miss Congeniality.
Yeah.
That's what happens. It should be the queens sit down and they go, who was the most congenial? Who was the nicest? Maybe they would have picked Poopy. Maybe they would have. I don't know. But I just don't think it shouldn't be anybody but the queens choosing.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting this up there, Caesar. I wanted to share this because I questioned it too when they were translating the yay or nay. I was like, really? That doesn't look like yay or nay to me. He said a better translation would have been cute or shit. Is how those should have been translated. And that makes more sense. They probably didn't want to put shit on the translation, but you may not like her, but she's loved and celebrated. Okay. I know I've said that all the time. Yeah, I say that, just she's not my cup of tea. So, yeah, the fix is in. Elaine said, I don't mind it though. All right, that was the reunion. I said there wasn't much to talk about for the reunion, unfortunately, guys. And now we're at the finale, which again, I feel like there's not a ton to talk about because it was really kind of just, they got the video message from Valentina explaining the challenge. Who do we want to talk about how Valentina looked?
No.
Okay,
Nay.
Yay, Valentina was there. So she introduces the Maxi Challenge, which was, they say one of the hardest things for Latin queens is to lip sync in English. So for the Maxi Challenge, they had to lip sync and get choreographed to RuPaul's You Wear It Well. I feel like this is the first time even though she said comedy was her problem, was the first time I saw Carmen struggling. I felt like she really had a hard time learning the English words to the song and doing English words and choreography and stuff. Did you see it?
A little bit. Now that you say it, she did look, there were moments where I think you saw like some discomfort. So that probably must be it if that's true.
Yeah.
It is. It must be hard. Like in any language. Are you kidding me? Like I can only imagine like lip syncing another language if you're clearly not a native speaker.
Yeah. Sagittaria and Killer Queen both said that they do perform songs in English. I mean, granted, when you're performing, you're picking songs that you know well. So it's different when somebody gives you a song to perform that's kind of not in your wheelhouse. Yeah. I also thought it was kind of shady on Carmen's part when she's in the confessional and she says, they're talking about the final three and she's like, yes, I worked hard to be here. Killer, is on top of her game. Sagittaria is blonde. I was kind of like surprised that she kind of went there.
Yeah, it was pretty funny though.
Yeah. I was gonna say this too. Carmen does make a comment about Rue's lyrics too. I thought that was kind of shady too. She's like, they're kind of repetitive. Yeah, and I agree. She very much watermeloned the hell out of the lyrics. I definitely noticed that.
They're like, because it's like they're repetitive, but also they go into, Rue has like the raps that are just kind of like quick and like. So it's weird. It's a weird juxtaposition, like to go from like the "you wear it well" to the lipstick, blah 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 blah, like the rap part of their song. So I can imagine it could probably be pretty annoying when it goes from slower to like a fast paced like rap session from some of Rue's songs.
Right.
But we love the shade from Carmen, nonetheless.
Yeah, no, it was great. I'm not complaining one bit. Then they also did one-on-ones with Supreme, kind of like Rue does on the finale. Again, I don't know that I learned a ton more. We had already talked about Killer's big thing was she talked about how she came up with her name, which we had actually talked about. I had mentioned when we did our initial reactions to them because it had it on the fandom how she came up with her name. So I had actually already knew that she played this character in a show and kept the name. But she does get a little more into it that she was, teaching Sunday school. And then she kind of got ousted from the Sunday school when they found out she was doing drag and thought that she shouldn't be around kids and stuff like that. So she did talked about that. Also, I thought it was actually kind of endearing too when Carmen, she talks about her childhood and her parents and how hard they worked for her. And, and to find out that she's had no formal training in sewing, I mean, I was jaw dropped. I couldn't believe it. She basically said that she watched her grandmother and learned from there. And then when she moved to Madrid with 100 euros, she ended up buying a sewing machine and some cheap fabric and just kept practicing until she figured it out. So kudos to her, for doing that. She said she wanted to go to fashion school or design school, but she couldn't afford to. Maybe now she will. Now she has the money to do it. And then we also find out that Sagittaria decided to do drag because of Valentina. She met Valentina at the Work the World tour, and Valentina told her that she thought she could do drag. So, I don't know that I'd be taking advice from Valentina personally, but that's me. So I'm curious because we did get the choreographer, Carmelo Segura, who I thought was just darling. Ollie doesn't even remember that, but I just thought he was so darling. He also had a very nice smile. I'm thinking I need to move to Spain. That's all I keep thinking is I think I just need to move to Spain.
I think that's it. They don't make them like they do. They don't make them here like they do in Spain, apparently.
Yeah, I probably will never come back. So maybe I should, especially if I can find Daniel. He's gonna be like, there's this drag queen that keeps following me around. So we got to see them work. I thought it was interesting how they did the choreography stuff. I actually liked that the choreographer said, I want to see how you move so I can give you choreography. I feel like ultimately they ended up just doing the choreography that he wanted them to do, but I like the idea of them kind of, him at least getting to see how they move first. Mm-hmm. And he worked with them each individually. That was kind of just like the first rehearsal. Obviously they rehearsed more and stuff on the stage and stuff that we didn't see. Were you worried about anybody after watching the rehearsal?
Not really. Because honestly, I feel like we knew who was going to win personally. But like what I did like about this, because it brought us back to, like I said, I sound like a broken record, earlier seasons of Drag Race. I loved like season 8 and season 7 and season 6 and 5, 3, when they just do like a Rue song for the finale. I loved it. It was so simple. They didn't have to go through a new, like, writing a verse. There's something very special and fun and nostalgic also of just them doing a Rue song, being in a Rue music video, lip syncing it. It's like I really loved and cherished those moments of like those finales. So I really enjoy that they did this instead of doing, like their own verses for a Rue song. Yeah,
I agree. I actually also liked that it was started video and then they came out on stage and did the ending live. I thought that was really kind of cool. So it was just family on the judging panel. It was the Javis and Anna and Supreme, no guest judge. The category was my best drag look. All right. So first up is Killer Queen. Let me grab her finale. Your thoughts on Killers? You're already smiling, Ollie. I'm curious to hear what you're going to say.
Oh no. Like I was just thinking about some of the other looks, but I loved Killers. It gave me like total, like Ursula vibes, but I'm just really happy that Killer made it this far and she looked freaking amazing. I haven't seen Killer like in this type of silhouette yet. She looked great. She's freaking phenomenal. It's probably my favorite of the 3, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. I was kind of the opposite.
Really?
Only because I wanted it to be original. I just didn't like that she was doing Ursula.
Did she confirm it was Ursula? I just saw Ursula because of color.
She talks about it the whole runway. She's like, "This is Ursula. I love Ursula. She was created based on divine and blah 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 and this and that." And I was just kind of like,
I will say at least like because we've seen Ursula before, like on some drag races, like Canada, and it was terrible. But I like that someone did it right.
Yeah, I really liked it. But I was like, no, like I think if she would have came out in some like again, it doesn't have to be rhinestone or anything, but just something like
Killer.
Something so simple and Killer. Yeah, totally. I think I would have.
Even her entrance look, that to me was like finale even.
Totally. All right, I apologize for this picture because I had to take a screenshot of a video. So here's Carmen's runway. So it's not the best quality, but
Beautiful, gorgeous, beautiful gowns, of course. I think I almost wanted a little bit more, like something, just something. She looks gorgeous. I will never take that away from her. Gorgeous, beautiful. There's a reveal, but I wanted something, just a little bit more.
I will say I was the reveal, the bustle reveal didn't surprise me as much because I wasn't sure if she was going to or not. But the wig surprised me. I actually wasn't expecting that.
Totally.
So, not that we haven't seen a million wig reveals, but I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
So that was nice. I agree. I thought she looked beautiful. And then Sagittaria finale. Where is it? There it is. All right. And here is Sagittaria's finale. Your thoughts on hers?
Sorry. Oh God. Not my favorite. I just saw Aquaria in that photo. Her hair was down for the actual episode.
Right. That was from her Instagram. So
yeah. But it's almost as if you want, I don't know. I sound weird because I'm like, I want more original from Sagittaria. Granted, Killer did an Ursula reference. So I don't know. It just again, looking back at all her runways, if you can look on the Instagram, look at it. I just wasn't like, I just kept looking at them going, okay. I really liked her promo look, the Sagittaria. So like if she could have brought that, something a little bit more like I feel like a lot of people in the chat, I agree, stop relying on your beautiful, cinched, sexy, skinny, white body. I don't know. It was disappointing.
Yeah, a disco queen, you're cracking me up. She says she was a wet cat. I'm assuming you're talking about Carmen. I actually, it was funny too because I even thought, I'm like, you're not going to get crowned in that wig, are you? I wanted her to put the other wig on to get crowned because now all the promo pictures that they took of her with that hair, it actually doesn't look that bad in the promo pictures. But I wish she had that. So not only did they do the live, the video performance into a live performance. Then they came out in their best drag. Then they made them all lip sync, which is what we were talking about with the reveal. So they had to lip sync another song, which don't ask me the name of it because I wasn't even going to try to say it or write it down. It seemed like a really great song. I feel like MJ or Caesar could tell. I feel like one of you guys might know more about the song that they sang, lip sync to. I thought that's where Carmen stepped up because I felt like Killer nailed the video live performance. But then I felt like Carmen kind of was like, oh, no, don't forget about me. And then she kind of stepped in. Your thoughts?
Yeah, this is the first time Carmen lip synced. And
yep, true.
And she was in the middle, which granted, you don't always have to be in the middle, but they just kept showing her and you knew this was her crown and she killed it. Even if she didn't win, she killed it. The reveals, I agree. I didn't see the wet hair come out of nowhere. At first I thought it was, she messed up. I was like, what happened? But no, it was so, I had to rewatch that. And I'm like, it was so effortless. I'm like, where did the hair even go? I know. The thing is, she didn't even have to do that because I also just loved her hair in her finale look.
Me too.
She didn't even need to do it because she was emoting, and Killer was emoting too, and Sagittaria was doing good, but it was all Carmen for me.
I'm assuming Chucky Chuck. Thank you. I think this is the name of the song that they did. I'm putting it up there. I'm not even going to attempt. Oh, here. Here's it is also. Caesar, thank you. Kai in the Rain, a ballad from the 1980s.
Which makes sense as to why her hair was wet.
Yeah. Oh, right. Kai in the Rain. Is that a typo or is that, what is Kai in the Rain?
Lluvia is rain, so Kai in the Rain. La Gata.
Is that, I don't know if that's Cat in the Rain. Okay, I was going to say, that's got to be a typo. I'm like, Cat in the Rain. Thank you, Caesar and Lewis. Okay, well then that makes sense. That totally makes sense, yeah. Okay, I like it even more now. Okay, it's a song here. It's a song fully about that love that you lost and comes back. You have a moment and then leaves you in a broken heart.
Oh, sounds like
MJ.
oh, that's actually really beautiful. It definitely like the performance even means like even more.
Yeah. Only other thing I was going to talk about with the finale, this was kind of a mirror moment before they went on the runway. I feel like Carmen kind of got real tough in the last couple episodes. I mean, she kind of, calls out Sagittaria. I mean, Killer kind of does it in a nice way, but then Carmen kind of takes it to the next level and is like, look, you've just been focused on the thing. I tried to do the Ugly Busters thing with you and Dovima, and you didn't want to, hang out and be friendly and stuff like that. I became better friends with Dovima. I just thought it was, I agreed. I mean, I felt like I said this before, I still don't think I know who Sagittaria is. She seems like she's just, I mean, from what she did talk about from her growing up and moving around and stuff like that, I feel like she doesn't kind of bond with people really quickly because she's afraid it's going to end. She probably has that kind of fear in her. So I get it. But I agree. I think she's speaking the truth. Thank you, Chucky Chuck. Yeah. Any thoughts on that moment?
The good thing is that like she is so young, so she has more time to grow and to kind of like figure out who she is as a drag performer. So that's like the saving grace, at least for her. She has time.
Right.
She has so much time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't her time. Like this wasn't her time by any means. It was either Killer or Carmen for the crown.
Yeah. So that is it. Carmen Farala is España's next drag superstar. I will say I'm thrilled and elated. I don't think anybody that's upset with it. I think if anything, the things I've seen were that if she didn't, then Killer should have won.
Yeah. But we're forgetting Poopy Poison looking the best she's ever had on the runway.
Sorry. Yes.
I just couldn't. I had to. She looked amazing.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you that too. So because we did get to see all the queens come back on the runway, and I actually liked hers. I agree with you. I think it's the best she's looked on the whole season. The other one that my jaw dropped was the Macarena.
Oh, the Gundam, the Transformer. Oh my goodness. I was not expecting that.
Not expecting it at all. Not at all. I was floored. And of course, Drag Volcano just looked absolutely stunning. Like
they brought it.
Yeah, they totally brought it.
I can't forget mentioning Ugaseo.
Yes. I did. I thought that I thought the finale runways were all like nobody was bad. I don't think. I liked probably Dovima's the least. It seemed I was like, is she wearing a nightgown? But other than that, and I was, the Inti in those shoes, and she was hanging over the shoes. So I was not.
I didn't.
And they did a close up. They did a close up of that. So. Yeah. So that is it. That is the wrap up of Drag Race España. We did it. Oh, and we did it in good time. Good. Only other thing I was going to tell you guys, I don't know if everybody saw it, I did post them on the DRTVLA Instagram. The cast of Drag Race Holland has been announced. So jump on Instagram and start following the Holland queens and give them some love. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Holland. August 6th, I do believe Holland starts season 2. Anything else you would like to add about Drag Race España, Ollie?
Just a bittersweet ending. I'm sure we'll get a season 2.
Absolutely.
And hopefully, other seasons and spin-offs can learn a thing or two from Drag Race España.
Yeah. Oh yeah, good question. Chucky Chuck, think of your Javi's look.
I'm upset with him because they ended the episode with him kissing
I was going to put it in the notes. I was like, Ollie, how did you feel about the Javi's kissing at the end of the episode?
Sorry, I just didn't appreciate that. He did that on purpose to spite me.
Yeah.
I think he's upset with me. It was just disrespectful. I didn't need to see that. Ugh.
Yeah.
I hate being the third.
At the third wheel. Hello Kitty says she loved that they kissed.
Oh, I wish them all the best.
Well, you know, don't believe everything you see on TV, ladies and gentlemen. Instagram is not the real world, let's just say. So I still have faith for you, Ollie. I wanted to say that.
Thank you.
I overall, I thought a wonderful. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Again, like you said earlier, whether there was queens that I liked more than others, you know, it's always going to be the case. But overall, I thought it was a really well done. I think there was some producing going on, but not as bad as we've seen in the past. So I was okay with it overall. And the right person won.
Oh, totally. Yeah. But it makes me like, oh, I want these queens to do like have a US tour for sure. Or maybe we're just gonna have to go to Spain to see them. I don't know. We'll make a vacay.
Yeah, I would agree. Caesar says UK2 and España have been the best drag seasons in a long, long time. Agreed. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Holland. New Canada's going to be starting. Then we have 14.
UK3, I'm sure.
UK3 is going to be coming up soon too. Yeah. So, all right. And thank you to everybody who joined us live. Caesar, Elaine, MJ, Chuck, a disco queen. Who else? Hello Kitty. Thank you. I know Rook was in here. Rook King was in here as well. So thank you everybody who came and joined us live and joined us for the España, the little mini España recaps. We did it just for you guys. So I'm going to go climb back in my bed now and get better because I have a performance on Monday at Mickey's West Hollywood. So get ready for Lorraine's return to Mickey's. I'm so excited. If you're in the Los Angeles area, I'd love to see ya. All right. Thank you, Ollie. Thank you, everybody. Ollie, where can they find you on the socials?
Hi, guys. You can find me. I don't know what the accent was. At Ollie Dreamer on all the socials.
Yes. And you can find me at the Mark J. Freeman on all social media. Or if you want to know more about my performances in my cross-dressing, you can follow Lorayne Love, Lorayne Love. And then also be sure to follow our show, DRTVLA, on all social media. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Please. Lorayne Love is begging you. It'll make me feel better.
Yeah.
Good for a sick boy.
Yeah. He'll instantly recover if you subscribe.
That's right. Thank you, Chucky. He says, feel better, Mark. And yes, enjoy the rest of your week. We all love you. We'll be back Sunday at 3 to recap the next episode of All Star 6, episode 7 of All Star 6. So, love you guys.